All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Tyler here with Seller Accountant. And one of the things that I hear a lot that I just want to make sure you have clarity on is what are the financial priorities for my Amazon or e-commerce business? And obviously you get to this time of year, hey, we're here at the new year. We're about to get our books into our CPA or tax filing partners. And a lot of times what we can mistakenly believe is that our top priority as an e-commerce seller is to lower our tax liability. And I just want to make an argument that that's not even in the top three. Our financial priorities are going to have much more depth. And then if we get to number four, we get to number four, which is to mitigate taxes. Let me walk through what I would say are your top four accounting priorities. And taxes is not even in the top three. Let's dive in. It's time to maximize profitability and cash flow. It's time to learn habits and hacks from the best e-com CEOs. It's time for Return on Podcast with me, Tyler Jeffcoat. Number one, does my business have a strong core profit engine? In other words, do I have a business, right? So we use a metric here at Seller Accountant called PAG, post-advertising gross profit, or true gross profit after ads, after Amazon fees, after other marketplace fees, obviously after your cost of goods sold for the units themselves. Does your catalog and do each of the individual SKUs in that catalog generate at least 20% PAG or true profit margin? If the answer to that question is no, or I'm not sure, then that's your number one priority. I'm not worried about taxes yet. I'm not worried about any of the other things. I'm worried about making sure that I understand how healthy the core profit engine for my business is. And I'm going to put all of my guns focused in that direction, right? I mean, listen, I sell bookkeeping. I love bookkeeping. I love getting things in order so that when we go to exit or when we go to file our taxes, we have our ducks in a row. But guess what? If you don't have a strong profit engine, or you're not sure, or if your company's really tiny right now, your priority may not be to hire someone like me. It may be to get that profit engine straightened out. Obviously, we might be able to help you, but I think don't spend a second worrying about your tax liability until you have profit. That kind of makes sense. Priority number two is, what is my end game? I've got to build my exit strategy now. I've realized I have a business. It's profitable enough. Am I going to be exiting? Am I going to try to make a lot of money on the back end when I sell the company here in a year or two? Or am I going to need to raise cash because I really want to build this to be an 8-figure company? What do I want this company to do for me and for my family and for the other stakeholders? I need a clear 3-year vision. Priority number two, still not taxes. It is, I have to know where I want to head with this company, right? Because it's going to give me a lot of value when it comes to building my plans, cash flow wise and otherwise, to know what I want out of the business. If you struggle with building a 3-year vision, it's kind of a classic at this point, but Gino Wickman wrote a great book called Traction EOS. EOS stands for the Entrepreneur's Operating System. At Seller Accountant and for a whole bunch of our clients, we use EOS as kind of a template of how to build out a 1-page business plan and a 3-year vision and try to reverse engineer that. So that's priority number two, is I got to know where I'm going. Priority number three is I've got to build my tactical financial plan to get me where I'm going, right? What are the cash flow needs? How many launches of new products and brands do I need to initiate this year and next year and the year after that? What is an acceptable growth rate for my company so that I don't have to take on too much debt? How much debt am I going to have to take on? How much overhead can I afford to expend? How much can I afford to pay myself, right? These are tactical financial planning questions. In other words, question number one was, do I have a business? Question number two was, what do I want? And question number three is, how do I get what I want? And again, this is still priorities that are ahead of just lowering our tax liabilities, right? How do I put together the cash flow plan? How do I make sure that my analytics are pointing me in a direction that's going to get me where I want to go? And obviously, this is a great time, often to bring in a bookkeeping and fractional CFO team like Seller Accountant. So, shameless plug. If this is where you are, where I think I have a great business and I think I know where it's headed, I need some help dialing in my plan so that I have the cash to get me there, that kind of thing. Okay, so those are priorities 1, 2, and 3. And then once we get to that point, I'm sure there's other priorities here that I'm leaving out, but just for the simple illustration, I would put mitigating tax liability at least number 4. And we need a good tax partner. Seller Accountant doesn't file taxes, but we have a slew of CPAs and tax firms that we really love to work with. And I believe wholeheartedly in getting the best CPA team to help me mitigate my taxes, not just keep me out of jail, but lower my tax liability. But this cannot be priority number one. I do want to answer this final question, which is this: how can I keep as much of my money as I possibly can? But if I don't have a business that's generating profit, this doesn't matter. If I don't understand what I want from this business, which, by the way, if I'm looking to exit or if I'm going to have to raise cash at some point in the future, I have to have investor grade financials. I can't half-ass my accounting just to lower my tax liability in the current year. I can't afford to kick the taxes down the road and then cost myself $1 million on my exit. That doesn't make sense, right? But once I have that strong profit engine, once I have built my end game, once I have that tactical financial plan from getting me from where I am to where I want to be, then I need to spend some money and hire a great CPA, somebody who understands the exact laws of my state. This is actually one of the reasons that Seller Accountant doesn't file taxes is, hey, I'm located in the state of Georgia, and I am very much an expert at Amazon, Shopify, Walmart, Etsy, eBay, and other ways to make your business worth more money so you can exit day. What I'm not an expert at is what Wyoming's tax laws are and what California's tax laws are and what Texas's tax laws are. Now, CPAs normally are qualified to do things in multiple states, but I am a big believer in having a tax partner that understands my local jurisdiction for a couple of really important reasons. One is I might own this Amazon business, plus I might own 3 investment properties, plus I might own some kind of a short-term rental, plus I might have an interest in another company. And the tax laws from my state for each of those different business types are really important for me to manage. Maybe my spouse has a W-2 job, right? That kind of thing. And I may get myself in trouble having an out-of-state CPA unless they're really a larger firm. Second thing I would say here is when I do go to exit my company, I'm going to have to stroke the biggest tax check I've ever had to strike in my life to make this $1 million influx of cash to my family. I want to have the CPA that understands every local state loophole because this can be a 6 or 7 figure difference in my taxes. So again, we have a couple of really great national firms we recommend. Please reach out to me if you need a tax partner, but don't just cut all the corners to get the lowest tax liability possible. It is crucial, friends, that we build a strong core business, that we understand what we want from the business, that we have a tactical financial plan to get there, and then we're going to focus on mitigating taxes once we've built our cash flow plan and our profit plan for the next year and the next 3 years. So that's this episode of kind of mind your business on the Seller Accountant feed here on YouTube. And just grateful for you guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you don't mind, subscribe to this. It's helping us as we're trying to build the channel here. Share this with anybody who's struggling with the falsehood that I must prioritize tax liability over everything else, because that's not true. Take care, guys. Bye.